want to wish all of you a very happy and a very blessed new year. We ask God to be with us and to help us to truly celebrate how God's blessings are present to us so many times during the year. But probably most often, or most of us would say that it is true really at Christmas time. And you know, the Christmas season is about many things. We have the trees, the lights, beautiful, beautiful music. We always have, people sing better, you know, during Christmas because we know all the words, see? And we know how the song goes. And you know, some things about Christmas is that we can celebrate it any time. You may have celebrated already last week, or Tuesday and Wednesday, or maybe it's this weekend you're having your Christmas, or maybe it's the following week. One of my servers had it last week in Mankato, and her next one will be in June. I said, "Is that Christmas?" She said, "Yes, Father, that's Christmas." You see, you can celebrate it any time. Why? Because the chief part of Christmas has nothing to do with the trees, or even the crib scene, or even, you know, the beautiful music. It has to do with family. Family. And when can the family get together? In June, right? Way up north. So today we recognize that. And today the church has made the Feast of the Holy Families lie between Christmas and New Year's every year. And we recognize that the family is so important to us that we're willing to celebrate the day of Christmas any day of the year. You know, if you think about it, the Feast of the Holy Family shows up in the Gospels 5 times. 5 different stories. The first one was last Tuesday night, last Wednesday, the story of Mary, Joseph, Jesus lying in a manger, shepherds. Next Sunday we'll hear about the Magi coming. And the story of Christmas is about that. But what is most important about it is that the Feast of the Holy Family that we celebrated last week has something to say about our family that we celebrate this week and every time we gather as God's people to enjoy our family. You know, 2 questions I've always asked high school students when I was teaching years ago was one was, if you could celebrate Christmas with anybody in the whole world, who would you want to celebrate with? And the answer would always come back, my family. I thought, well, beautiful, beautiful. And the second question was this: if you had to hear some tragic event, who would you want to hear it from? And they would always say, a member of my family, because they would tell me the truth, and they would give me the comfort that I need in times of such event. So the family is very, very important for all of us, and we know that. You know, the story of Christmas and the baby in the manger reminds us that we who celebrate our family probably far too infrequently. Oh, we have a family reunion once in a while. Oh, we might have to go to a funeral. We might go to a wedding, but not let it at Christmas time. Funerals and weddings and family reunions, that's not a special date. Christmas, as I said, can be any date you want, if we can get the family there. And that's what's important for setting up the date and when we're going to celebrate Christmas. But when can the family come there together? And so I just have to say that the greatest gift you received or will receive will not be a sweater or, if you're a child, a toy, but it will be the gift of your family. Treasure it. The second story of the Holy Family is the one Deacon Ed read tonight. They have to go into Egypt to get away from the jealousy of Herod, who wants to kill the child. And so they have to leave as a family, mother, father, child, so that they recognize that they need one another in order to escape the difficulty that was presented to them. And isn't that true in our life too? You know, when we were small and we hurt, or something happened to us, we'd run to mom and dad and say, help me, help me. And then there's that period of time when we didn't need, quote unquote, think we didn't need our family, so we didn't know to them. But as you get older, you realize again, when we think that the world is going to drop out below us, it's the end. Something's not right. It's not working. And what do? I go to my family to get support, to get encouragement, to get the help that I need to go through that event or difficulty that I'm experiencing. You know, we sometimes can believe that the world hates us and there's nobody left. Oh yes, there is. There's always our family. And for some reason or other, they take us as we are, you know, and accept us for who we are. And that's the beauty about being a family. And the third time the family shows up is at the presentation of Jesus in the temple. And when Jesus was presented in the temple, a man named Simeon said, "This child is destined for the rise and fall of many." This child is important. Wouldn't we all say that about our own families? Each child is important. Though they may not be destined for the rise and fall of many, but they are very, very important. And we believe that. And they grow in age and wisdom and grace. And their importance is recognized and seen and honored. Even in those days when they were fighting and arguing and yelling and screaming at each other, we know that the day would come when we would see their importance in another way. And you know, there's something else in that story. It's a story that we heard in that first reading. It's a story about two old people, Simeon and Anna, and how important it is for us to respect and honor those who are old in our own family. Oh, not just by giving them, senior discounts, no, but to recognize the wisdom of the old. So often we say, the old is worn out, it's retired, it is already over the hill, it's wrinkled and bent over. But this story of the presentation talks about the old as beautiful, and the ability to see the truth of life, the ability to go to the heart of the matter. And Sirach today said to us, old means honor. Old means treasure. Old means reverence and taken care of. And then we read at the end of today's reading that the family went back to Nazareth, where it grew up. And here we see, as the Holy Family grew, so does our family grow. And it learns things, as the Holy Family did. They learned about God. They learned about God's wisdom and God's grace in their life. They learned also the dignity of each human person. Jesus learned that at Nazareth, in his family, and with his family. And I know that there are times when some of us arrive at that time in our life when we say, I wish we could go back to the good old days. And we think about, all the wonderful things that happened years ago. But we don't have to go back. Right now, as we gather with our family this Christmas season, we realize the importance of love and life and forgiveness and sharing, the importance of each other. A beautiful, beautiful gift. That's another reason family is so important to us. And the fifth story is that at the age of 12, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph went to the temple. Yes, the story tells about how he got lost. But also, it reminds us that for you and I, it was at the temple that the family brought us to receive the sacrament of baptism and Eucharist and confirmation. It was at the temple where we gathered to worship and to pray to our God. Christmas really points this out to me every year. In the 52 years that I have been celebrating Christmas, the thing about Christmas that always struck me is that the family came to the temple to pray together. And every year at Christmas, particularly Christmas Eve, but I would notice it, and I did again last Tuesday night over in Sherburne, how the family came as a family, sharing a pew, maybe two pews by now. But a beautiful, beautiful experience of family coming together to celebrate Christmas. I don't see that any other day or any other event of the year. And I just realized that it's a great sense of pride that I'm sure the family feels, and certainly a great sense of pride that I feel when families come together at Christmas like they do. And I know that in that pew were some of the locals and some of the visitors who have come from other towns to celebrate family that night. And I think it was really beautiful that the joys of Christmas each year for me has been that event, to see the family gathering as a family. And we know that if we're going to make any New Year's resolution, I hope and pray that one of the chief resolutions you make has something to do with your family.